Okay. All right. So let's talk about the greatest highway on this planet. And the greatest highway on this planet is from the front door to the back door. You know, most people do not even relate. They can't even relate that this end and this end, right? Front door, back door. They don't even think that far. I'm going to tell you, if I were to have a group of people in here, and this is not because people are stupid, they've been stupefied, okay? If I had a group of people in here and I say, put your hand on your stomach, they don't know. Most people don't know. Stomach's right here, right? Put your hand on your liver. They don't know their liver is underneath the ribs right here, okay? All right? Right to the point that when we say this, okay? When we say that you have a leaky gut, there is no leaky gut. Your gut is not leaking. Leaky gut is actually only leaky large intestine. That's it. It's leaky large intestine. And you're going to go, well, yeah, but doesn't the small intestine leak a little? Not anywhere compared, not even close to the large intestine, though. The large intestine is the Holy Grail. And understand something. The large intestine is what is under attack. Every food corporation is after your large intestine. Okay, whether you believe it or not, the medical system is after your large intestine. Yes or no? Yes. I'll prove it to you. They're after your large intestine. And those doctors aren't bad, but they have bad beliefs because they don't even know it. But they're after, you know, can somebody hurt you with not even knowing that they're hurting you? Can we program human beings to hurt other human beings without other human beings knowing that they're even doing it? Yes. Okay, all right. Can a person get paid enough money to hurt his brothers and sisters? Yes. Okay, can we pay someone to go to war with people that they don't even know? Yes. Right. Okay, all right. I would always, my father used to say that we were the most advanced species on in the universe. And we're not even the most advanced species on the planet. Unless you have unconditional love for yourself and everyone else, you're not advanced at all, are you? Somebody that has a whole bunch of information in their head, you know, that's gone to school and they've got 4 PhDs, they're just as dangerous as the person with a gun. Because it's your belief systems that actually do it. And if your belief systems were based on unconditional love and care for yourself and everyone else, we wouldn't be in this mess. And we also would be making choices. Like today, we're going to call this little lecture here, they call us useless eaters. So think about this. The same people that created the pandemic, right, are the same people that actually call us useless eaters, and they are actually human beings too. They have come together and they poison us on all levels, right? Water, air, food. And it's not about me going in here to bash. I'm going to teach you here. But I need you to understand something. All right? Food corporations are owned by big tobacco. How many people know that? How many people know that BlackRock and Vanguard own all supermarket chains, or almost all supermarket chains in North America now, and in Australia, and around the world? So if you can control the energy, whether we're talking about gasoline, oil, or the most important commodity energy is the energy of your body, right? If you don't have energy, where are you? Okay, sick people don't have hardly any energy, and someone that isn't alive anymore has no energy. Somebody who's very healthy has energy. So they're after energy on all levels, whether it's the turning the lights on, turning the heat on, turning the heat off on you, stopping the food from getting to you. But understand something. How many people know that 97% of all food in a supermarket is poisonous? Okay, how many people know that a minimum of 70% of all the food in health food stores is poisonous? How many people know that 100% of all the food that's in a corner store that's on every corner? Why would we put on every corner almost a store that only causes cancer and diabetes and heart disease, okay, blood pressure. Why would we put on every corner a store that will rot the teeth out of children? Well, so we can put the mercury in their mouth and then call it silver fillings. So how many people here know that 47% of all silver fillings are mercury? 47%. And that's way over the EPA. It's like beyond. How many people know that rules and laws only apply to the herd? They call us the herd. They call us useless eaters. They call us useless eaters because we have a 4-inch consciousness. We look at it and go, and then we just try to see if we can make it fit in our mouth. And that's true. Most of us have the mentality of useless eaters, but what you don't understand is you're not stupid. You were programmed. I mean, you can go all the way through school and even call yourself a doctor and get done and not even know how to feed yourself, not know how to love yourself, not know how to care for yourself. But nobody sees this. Unless you're willing to question everything and become a health detective, you haven't got a chance. We are not useless eaters. We are spirit beings that came down here on this planet and we came in through a portal called the vaginal canal. It's a portal. And then we created a physical body, so we are spirits that are having a physical adventure. And the reality is that the human body, brain was actually manipulated. 90% of your brain is the subconscious, and guess what? From 0 to 7, you know what? There are people on there that I really admire, and they go, well, you know what? From 0 to 7, you're just in your subconscious and you have no filter. And that's because you need to learn all the rules and lessons so that you fit into the community. Bullshit. The brain was manipulated, and some really people that I admire say that, we needed to have this no filter so we could learn really quickly. No, he's wrong, she's wrong. The brain was manipulated in a laboratory, whether you want to believe it or not. People don't like when I say this. Because who needs to have only no filter until you're 7? You know what? The Jesuits say this. The Catholic Church says this. Give me a child until they're 7 and we will own that child for life. They will do everything. They will become whatever we want them to become. So that's not true. So nobody really has a choice and nobody has a chance here. Do you get it? Because you are going to become part of your mother and your father, part of whatever systems you're in, whatever church you go to, whatever school you go to, the people that you hang around with, you will be made up of their personality. Yes or no? Yes. So let's just get that perfectly clear. And if everyone were to buy into the fact that I'm right about this, that every 7-year-old needs to be reprogrammed. And by the time you're 30, if you weren't reprogrammed, into unconditional love and care for yourself and know how to work this highway called your digestive tract, which is over 30 feet long, you don't have a chance. All those foods I talked about are all about addiction. They want us being ruled by our addictions, not by conscious thought. Okay, so anyways, Rafa picks me up. He's the videographer. And we tease him. Now, let me just come back here, but lovingly tease him. But let me come back here to something. Does anybody understand that when you go out to eat, what's the 2 things they ask you first? Do you want an alcoholic drink? Or would you like to have bread or tortillas? Well, here it's tortillas or bread, okay? If it's more American, Canadian, European, it's bread. If it's Mexican, it's tortillas. How many people know that when you eat bread or you eat tortillas, okay, just before you eat or you have an alcohol drink, it shuts down your frontal lobe? And now guess what you do? You over order. As soon as I go out, I go, no bread. Don't bring any bread. And understand something. So we were driving here, and I said to Rafa, so did you have any tortillas? Nope, didn't have any tortillas all day. But he woke up last night, and he said, yeah, I had 3 tortillas. So you start off with, I just want 1 tortilla. Now, when he got up last night, did he get up because he was hungry and he wanted to nourish his body? Or did he get up because the fungus said, Rafa, Daddy, that was the candida, the fungus, feed us. You didn't give us tortillas all day. So understand, fungus, which is candidiasis, which is the main problem that we have on the planet right now, as far as parasites go, we do have parasites. Like 99 out of 100 people have fungus. They have parasites, worms. 99 out of 100, okay? Because the issues in your tissues decide who's going to live there. And the weaker the terrain, the more parasites you're going to have that come and feed off the decomposing tissue. How many people know that every disease in your body, no matter where it is, you are decomposing in that area? Did you get that? You're decomposing. People with really chronic conditions, if you could open up their skin and smell it, it would smell like rotten. Something's rotten in Denmark. You know what I mean? Now, so he woke up. Instead of having a glass of water, he had to have a tortilla. Now, was it him getting up because he wanted to nourish himself, or did he want to feed the fungal babies? Because understand something. It's just like everybody else. You know, I'm sitting there and the sun's going down and, you know, honey, I'm kind of feeling kind of snacky. When do you feel snacky? When you start getting tired. Because as you get tired, okay, they play on you, right? When you're tired, when you're weaker, do your addictions get stronger? Yes. Okay, all right. So just as these microscopic parasites and these called fungus and bad bacteria and actual worms, which sometimes aren't microscopic because a lot of people have tapeworms 2 feet to 50 feet long inside them. You've got another kind of parasite that calls us useless eaters that actually is the same people that did the pandemic, is the same people that's trying to destroy the dollar and bring us into digital. And then they're going to come out with, well, anyways, they're going to play with us. I don't want to get it. I'm not going to go any deeper into it. People won't be able to process this. So the reality is you've got 2-legged parasites, and then you've got the ones that crawl inside of us. But the other ones are just inside of our heads, and they manipulate us, right? New and improved. And understand this, you can drive sometimes Lori and I will drive for 20 minutes or half an hour to get to a whole plant-based, clean food restaurant. You know, I travel a lot. The thing is the majority of the population, if they travel as much as I do, like when I'm going to go on another world tour, we strategize everything. Okay, juice bar. Okay, whole plant-based salad bar, organic. We strategize it because we come first. That's got to come first. No, you wait until you're, oh, I'm starving, and then you don't look at nourishing, you look at what? Filling yourself up. So the reality is that's where the control comes in. Because people can't think properly, can they? We can't think properly when we drink alcohol. We can't think properly when we do too much sugar. Can't think properly when we get too much flour. And just know that these same people that created the pandemic, they are allowed to poison food and kill people. The majority, if you break a rule, they're after you, aren't they? So you better start loving and caring for yourself. So the amount that you're actually healthy is the amount that you actually care for yourself. Most people will never be able to care for themselves at the amount they want to, and it's not their fault. And they wouldn't even think about it. Why? Because your diet is as good as the people you eat with. And if I say to you, do you have a good diet? You're going to say yes, because that's your comparison, is the family you eat with. If I ask you if your bowel movements are good, you're going to tell me you have great bowel movements. I mean, how many people do you poop with? You know? I've got the hotel bringing in at least 20 toilets tomorrow, and then we're all going to have bowel movements together. See, everybody thinks they have a great bowel movement. Everybody thinks that they have a really great diet. Compared to who? Understand, the majority of the population and every stat or statistic is actually created to feed corporations. Who's in charge of health now? Corporations. Not actual, I'm not in charge. I'm not in charge of health. I'm just the quack who wants to steal your money. Right? That's who I am. But people will listen to a corporation, and corporations run and own the government. So all the rules are made through there. But then the majority of the population believes that the government's actually working for them, and they don't. Now, so I'm done with my conspiracy stuff, but nobody can fight with me on this because it's true. All right, so let's take a look at eating. So we're not useless eaters anymore. We're going to nourish ourselves. So what I want you to do is I want you to practice saying this. From now on, hey kids, time to nourish. See, even saying that, you're not going to put the garbage foods on the table. Hey kids, time to eat, you little garbage cans. Right? Remember something. If you don't want your kids always eating, then why don't you feed them something that actually will turn off their hunger? Their hunger will never turn off because kids get crap food, don't they? So we know, and it's not my stat, but this is actually out there. Go do the work, guys. Go do the science. If a child is around 12 years old, that child is said to is not going to outlive the parents now. Does anybody know why? Because the parents came from a generation that isn't as poisoned as now. It's game on for the harvesters. And remember something, every time your kids are good, you give them poison, don't you? Every time your kids are good, you give them poison. If you're good, mommy's going to poison you. Right? And we do, don't we? And then we all already know, too, that there was no ADD, there was no ADHD even 20 years ago. But there is now. But nobody has a clue about this, right? Oh, did you know that BC now is giving fentanyl to children in public schools? And did you know that? Yeah, and guess what? And they're saying that they're doing it because it's a lot purer and cleaner than on the streets, so they want to make sure they get the clean, pure stuff. Oh, don't believe me, go do your homework. And guess what? And guess what? The children do not have to, if they want it, they do not have to tell their parents that they're getting it from the school. I would get myself out of British Columbia so fast. So parents have just lost the right to fight. Right? This is what's going down. So you got to be awake. Let's talk about digestion. So here's the deal. I'm tired. What do you do when you're tired? Most people don't rest, they eat, right? And to get energy right away, you have to stimulate, not regenerate. Most people, when they're tired, do they go and make a salad? Or do they do something that is a refined carb or sugar or something that will stimulate them? So understand something. Every time that you do a stimulating food and not a regenerating one, then you're actually stealing energy from your organs. Do you get that? So it's the same thing with the guy who drinks coffee throughout the day, or the girl. When you do that, it goes in, okay, and it actually blocks the tiredness. It blocks the dehydration. And then what it does, it causes your metabolism and your liver to go up. Get this the heck out of here. So now you've got this extra energy for a while. And then you crash again. I mean, there's things you can do if you want to drink coffee that you can actually protect yourself by putting Black Diamond in it and putting C60, but I'm not promoting people to do that. When I have a coffee, that's what I do, so I don't get this, or I feel like this, or any of that stuff. So just know this. We eat when we are upset. We eat when we're bored. And every time that we want to celebrate, we poison ourselves. Yes or no? Okay. Every time we socialize, what do? We eat. Wouldn't it be great if we came together and we drank things that were really tasty and really healthy for us? And we did that, but we have to eat. It's just a program. Everything is about food. Everything's about food. Corporations want us to be useless eaters. They want us to eat ourselves to death. They want us to always be full. Let's take a look at the majority of the population. How many of you, for most of your meals, after you eat, you're just as tired or more tired after the meal? You're satisfied, but you're more tired. You know, that's 95% of the population. They'll sit down, I'm so hungry, I'm ravenous. Okay, they eat quickly, they don't drink their solids, which means that you chew your food down to a small particle and make it into a liquid. Now you digest the whole thing. They take it down in chunks. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So the reality is this. If you go into my library and you go watch the video, the masterclass, The Meat and Potato Man, okay, go in and watch it. It's called Spoiled Rotten. Okay, honey, I'm hungry. He comes home and he sits down and he's so starving. I've had a hard day. And what does he do? Does he just gulp the food down? He might even have a beer or a glass of wine, or he's got a big glass of water. How many people know that you should never have liquid at the table? All right. How many people know the reason why everybody's got liquid at the table is because the family has never been taught to hydrate. So the reality is they're too dry. The mucus is sticky. So what they do is they start to eat their food, gulp. It's like they're trying to get the logs to the market, right? Okay, so the reality is if you go and you start eating and you feel too dry, like you're going to choke, well, first of all, you're not chewing your food enough, because you want to drink your solids. So that means anything in your mouth, you want to chew it down to the point that it's liquid. And it's not going to be liquid if you didn't hydrate properly that day, because you just don't have the liquid to make the saliva to do it. Okay? Okay? All right. So we sit down. If we're dehydrated, we're not going to make the enzymes either. Did you know that? Without water, we're nothing. I mean, we're walking bags of water. We need to have that water. So here's a rule. Anybody that's, and I don't say man and women anymore, because there are women that are way heavier than any man. And women are getting bigger and bigger, aren't they? Okay? So if you weigh around 150 pounds, you're looking at 3 liters, 3 quarts a day. If you're over that, you could be looking at 4. If you're over 200, you could be looking at 4 to 5 quarts a day. And you're going to go, that's too much, you're going to drown. Well, nobody's ever drowned from drinking water. And there was actually a story, I said it the other day, that it was actually on a news feed. Oh my God, somebody sent it to me. Lady drowns because medical clinic did not know that she was emotionally unbalanced. She drank so much water, she drowned herself and died. And now, guess what? The people in the world actually believe this stuff. Okay? Seriously? I mean, really? Really? Okay, so now, oh my God, I'm scared. I don't want to drown. I better not drink too much water. Or if you drink too much water, you're going to burn out your kidneys. Or if you drink too much water, you're going to dilute the nutrition in your body and you'll lose all your electrolytes, and oh my God, all of this is a lie. But you'll be able to get any of this information from a medical doctor because they get the report and go, okay, let's just pass it on. Let's pass it on, right? So what we want to do is if you're around 150 pounds, you're going to do 1.5 liters or 1.5 quarts, what? Before noon. Before noon. If you're like over 150 pounds, you're going to do 2 quarts. If you're in between 150, closer to 200, if you're over 200 pounds, you're going to do more. Now, at the beginning, if I'm totally obese, that means I'm retaining tons of water. So there's a little change here, okay? Are you ready? So, what is the main thing that's going to kill people on this planet right now? Diabetes. Okay, 85% of the population is now pre-diabetic. Did you get that? They're right on the edge. Oh, what's that from? All the sugar. 100 times more sugar than 1900. That's what we're eating now. 100 times more. Okay? All right. So diabetes. So here's the deal. Don't you just love this part? How you're big, you're bold, and you're a woman, and you're beautiful. And guess what? I had a video, and it showed all of the people that are actually being sponsored by corporations about big, bold, and beautiful, and they all had shows and podcasts. Most of them are dead. You better watch out for the belief systems that you have, because if they're not really built on unconditional love, whatever you feed gets bigger. And if it's negative, it's going to eat you up. Okay? Being big, bold, you know what? Oh yeah, we all got to look, we don't all have to look slim. But the reality is how many people know that just 30, 40 years ago, 10 pounds overweight was obesity. Now you're not obese until you have 40 pounds. Isn't that nice how we get everybody off the hook? No, we're putting everybody on the hook. All right? So go take a look at a beach in 1970, 40 years ago. Not 40, actually 50 years ago. Go back to 1970. Go take a look at a beach picture. You can't find but maybe one person out of maybe 500 on a beach. Now, guess what? Does anybody know the percentage? 90% of the beach is obese and overweight to the point that they're not looking good. So the reality is this. We talk about how, and we don't just talk about, but we hate this, we hate that, we hate this. Yeah, I know, but guess what? Why don't I just walk into all of these people's homes and open up their fridge and their cupboards? What the heck? What the heck? Why don't they download an app and scan everything, right? Okay? There's one called Bobby, and that's supposed to be a really good one. But you can go on your phone, download an app, find out the one that's rated the best, and understand when you go shopping for your foods, make sure that you scan every time. Because soon as that organic, that high vibrational food becomes really popular, You can almost buy anybody out, can't you? Geez, hon, no, I don't want to sell it to a corporation, babe. Honey, they're offering us $2 million. You never have to work again. They will buy up everything that becomes popular, that is high vibrational, and they will actually poison it. So, you know, Dr. Wolf, you're really depressing. No, I'm not. Why don't you learn the rules to this game? Okay? All right? Mind your own business. Look after your health. Look after your wealth. And know that this toxic, corrupt game has been going on since the beginning of time. It'll always go on. But it's not unfair. Let me ask you a question. Before the course, everything was unfair. This is what day now for you? Sixth day into the course. Is anything unfair now? No, you already know that if you mind your own business and you take on unconditional love for yourself and you find your passion, purpose, and you don't get distracted with all of this sick entertainment that they put in front of you, you know dang well that you've got what it takes. Yes. Do you love Trish more than you did 5 days ago? Yes. Why? What did she do for you? Nothing. No, you changed your mind. Well, yeah, because you're loving yourself, you can love her. We don't get it. If you feed yourself properly, then guess what? It's going to happen. You know, every mother and every father I talk to, when their kids are sick, it's because the parents are sick. They got sick thoughts. You know what? Who buys the food? My kids are really picky eaters. Really? No, you are. Okay? Honey, the kids went to bed. Get out the junk. Honey, the kids went to bed. Get out the alcohol. Right? The kids went to bed. Let's break out the tokes. I mean, it just never ends, does it? Right? Yeah. And that doesn't ensure that your kids are going to stay clean, because they can go right next door to the next neighbor and they're going to get all the junk they want. So you're never going to change it, because it's all about poisoning our kids, right? I already told you that. We kick it off with Halloween. Every kid gets at least 10 to 15 pounds worth of sugar and chemical poisoning, right? And then we hop into Thanksgiving, where we do gluttony, right? And then we hop into Christmas, where it's an emotional and a physical chaos. And then we end it with a boozer holiday called New Year's. And then we're going to go into COVID within another 10 days to 2 weeks. The majority of the population is going to have snot coming out of every orifice. And then that'll be the pandemic again. Do you understand? So it's all a setup, and I'm not going to buy it. But the reality is it just goes round and round and round. And I'm not putting anybody down. I'm not putting this down. I get it. It's a game. My God, if we just loved ourselves and we had value, and if we just understood they are going to come up with any chemical that they can to addict us. So like, yeah. You know, there's times in my life where I just go, okay, I need to hire a videographer. I need to hire an accountant. I need to hire a nutritionist that has no addictions. Oh, well, there goes my business. It's even difficult to hire people that aren't out of shape and overweight, and they say they're in the health business. Look at how many people are in the natural health business and they've got a chronic disease. Look how many people are in the health business and they have emotional problems. All of this can be turned around with unconditional love and care for yourself, but if you do it, then you're known as a very selfish person, aren't you? Okay, let's talk about it. So we've got, I call this the second brain. Everybody calls this the first brain, okay? The first brain is your heart. I teach differently, but then there's everything about me is kind of different that I teach, isn't it? Oh, wait a minute. You paid me to make a difference in your life so it would be different. So what do people do? Oh, it's too different for me. Ask yourself if things are logical. If you want a different life, then you need a different teaching. The teaching that 99.9% of the population gets isn't working, but everybody buys into it. Nobody complains about it. If you want something different, then you've got to go for different. If you want to follow the majority, then you are off to the butchers, yes or no? You know that. They know that. But the problem is that an addicted person, and when I say addicted, the person here is going, well, I'm not addicted. Really? Go look in your cupboard. Go look in your fridge. Go look at how many times you have to do that during the day. Go start tracking and download Bobby, and then take that app and check everything that you've bought and eaten. Okay, in a ketchup bottle this big, in a ketchup bottle that big, if it's Heinz, all right? How many people know that 30% of that bottle could be filled up with just sugar? So I can tell, go take a look in the Perfect Day Guide. I've got pictures in the new Perfect Day Guide and show all the condiments and all the foods that people eat the most, and I show the levels of sugar. It'll blow your mind. So anybody listening, just download PDG, Perfect Day Guide, free.com. And then if you think it's of any value, share it. I mean, if we're not going to help each other, where are we going to be? I just want to see the world change. Well, you can't do that until you change your thoughts. You can't do that until you do something different. Think differently. So when you think differently, I want you to process through your heart, not your brain. If you process through your brain, nothing changes. Your brain only runs programs. And we already know you've been programmed. So if I loved myself, what would my decision be? So we want to process through the heart. The heart has the highest vibration of anything. The heart never gets cancer. Did you know that? Every other part of the body will get cancer. The heart does not get cancer because it's a high vibrational, and it's actually where you store all your relationships, all your emotions when it comes to love in here. So you want to start filling up your heart with love. Feed it what it wants, and that's what it needs. It needs love. No other organ needs love more. Fill up your own heart with love every day. And then when you make a decision to do things, put your hand on your heart and ask yourself, would someone who loves themselves eat that, drink that, say that, do that? That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. And if you can't remember, put stickers around your house. I love myself. I'll protect myself. I respect myself. If you go and look into the Perfect Day Guide, I've given you like about 200 different sayings you can put to get you started. And remember something, it's all repetition. All the people out there that are sick have sick thoughts. All the people out there that are really healthy have really healthy thoughts. All the people out there that are poor have poverty thinking. And people are going, that's not true. I've just never had a break. That's right. Keep saying it. I've never had a break. I've never had a break. I don't have it easy like him. Keep telling yourself the story. Anyways, you want to process through your heart first, up through your heart. This is your second brain. And we'll call this your third brain. Why? Because this gets affected or infected, depending on how you process, right? Okay, when you're depressed, when you're pissed off, do you make a salad? Do you make a blender drink? What do you do? So if you're only working from here, which has been programmed, the end result is this third brain. But actually, do you want to know if we were telling the real truth, what's the first brain? The good bacteria that live in your large intestine make up 85% of your immune system. 85%. How many people have their intestine hanging down and out? How many people have their intestine hanging down and in? How many people have their intestine all twisted with adhesions because they had a cesarean or they had an appendix operation? Or how many people know this? Every time that you have pain, every time that your tummy swells, you're creating scar tissue in your intestines. Did you get that? Do you know how many people get bloated every day? How many people have cramps every day? How many people they think it's kidney pain, but it's actually their intestines rotting out? It's not kidneys. One second. So this is a gentleman who had leukemia, okay? And he decided to go on my protocol. And I'm just going to say hello to him, okay? And then we'll get right back to work. I want him to know that, let's give him a chance to answer here. Hi.
Hey, Daryl, how you doing?
How you doing, big fella? Hey, look, I just want to show you what's going on. Say hello, guys. Hello. This is Gail and Bob, okay?
Look like you're a busy character.
Yeah, how are you doing? How are you feeling?
Good.
Yeah?
You're doing good. My throat's still, I have to go tomorrow. They're going to have a quick look. Had quite a few bleeds there about 3 weeks ago, and they went in through my nostril, just a quickie, because I went into...
Are you nebulizing?
Yeah, I have, but I think it's...
No, you need to, 1 second. You need to nebulize with the infinite iodine and take it in through your mouth. And then breathe down through your mouth. Also, you can take immunity and put a couple drops, or even frankincense, mix it with your saliva and swallow it to disinfect.
Right.
Are you clapping your throat?
No, I haven't. No, I won't say I have.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Like I say, I do have these clotting pills I've always had, so it quit bleeding since I took them, but it would bleed and then it wouldn't, and they said I might have a mass in there. So they're going to go in just with that nostril thing and have a look at it again.
I know, but guess what? If there's something growing in there, okay, what we need to be doing is silver bullet gel. Put it in your mouth, swallow it. What we should be doing is putting frankincense in our mouth, a couple of drops, mixing with our saliva, and let it just trickle down our throat. What we should be doing is going in and nebulizing. You should have a nebulizer right now, nebulizing all day.
I see. Yeah, I have one.
Infinite iodine will actually neutralize a virus in 15 seconds. Now, if you're continually nebulizing, okay, I don't need that. If you're continually nebulizing, you're disinfecting, okay?
Okay.
You know what? I'm going to tell you something, everybody. The deeper the hole, the deeper the ladder. So the more chronic the problem, the more you're on top of it. So we know that we could nebulize infinite iodine, and we could nebulize 50% silver bullet liquid and 50% fulvic, and we can do that with no toxic side effects.
Okay.
You should have a nebulizer in the car. You should have a nebulizer in your home, and you should be nebulizing all the time. infinite iodine today, and then nebulize the fulvic and silver tomorrow. And you should be going hardcore, watching TV, laying there. You can just get the strap, put it on here, fall asleep with it on, and take it in. There's no toxic value to it. Remember something, everything is vibration. Everything is frequency. Everything is light. If there's issues in your tissues, you've got blocks. If there's a block in his throat, then guess what? He's had trouble talking and expressing himself most of his life.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's like you say. Ever since I poured that, or like you say, it was so inflamed with it.
Yeah, but guess what?
I thought it was
Anything that, 1 second, anything that's detoxifying is going to be sore and inflamed because it's pushing the infection out. So you got to soothe it. Okay?
Other than that, things are good. They did take some blood again when I did go in there. My platelets showed that they were up at. So originally they were as low as 82. Now and that's.
The platelets were as low as 82, and where are they now?
Well, that's 3 weeks ago. They were at 128.
128. They're climbing.
Yeah. They're climbing. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
but understand something, and I'm going to tell you this. Smile more, laugh more. Don't take things so serious.
Yeah. No, I've been good that way. Everything's good.
Did you come off the diet?
No.
Okay.
We're on just starting week 4, heading towards week 14.
Good.
So we have just your vegetable soup we've added into our diet.
That's great. Vegetable soup is fine.
And stuff, but
right.
Now I know Christine was here one day. I said something about when we do go to that. You had mentioned a 6-day fast sometime down the road here.
You're ready to do it anytime you're ready to do it. So.
But I don't have. She said she thought I had, but we don't have the drink or something we need to do with it. Do we need something? What do I do on a 6-day fast? I guess.
Well, why don't you, let me think here. I'm going to finish this little thing here, and then right as soon as I finish, I'm going to call you back, okay? I'm just going through the digestive tract, and then I will give you the products that you need to make sure you have, and then me and you are going to talk privately, personally, and we'll build this thing, and we'll get going.
All right, sure.
Okay?
Sounds good. Right on. Have a good day.
All right. Bye, guys.
Yeah, bye.
Okay, I'm just going to say something here. How much did you actually know about health before you got here? I bet you thought you knew quite a bit, didn't you? Yeah, a lot of people think they know quite a bit. This is not coming from ego, so understand that. We've had everybody, naturopaths, chiropractors, oncologists, nurses. They come here and find out they've been ruled and schooled. Okay? Understand something. Different parts of the body are going to contract to get rid of toxins, and then you call that pain. When a part of the body bleeds, it's because it's trying to get rid of a really bad toxin. Women bleed every month, and it's getting rid of their worst toxins with their period in case they get pregnant. That's why they live longer. That's why they can take more pain than us. Did you know that? That's all. That's it. If everybody went back 10,000 years to Chinese medicine, you would understand that when the body bleeds, it's trying to get rid of really bad infection. And I'm not telling him not to go to his doctor. He needs to work with his medical doctor. He needs to make sure that he's on top of things, and everything he does is his decision, not mine. I never told him I could cure him. I told him that he is the cure he's looking for. You have to become different if you want different in your life. And everything I gave him is not toxic, it's high vibrational. So people can come to me and then they make their own choices. They can go to the doctor, work with them, work with me, but most medical doctors will say that I'm dangerous. That's right. Fresh and raw is dangerous. Nutraceuticals. They'll tell, what do they tell cancer patients? You can't do any antioxidants. Well, what do we know? There's no research or study that proves that antioxidants are dangerous or will stop the chemo or the radiation. It won't. But what it will do is it'll stop your hair loss, stop you from losing your taste buds, your smell. It'll protect a lot of things you're going to lose. But you can't stop chemo from doing what it's going to do, or radiation. You're only protecting yourself. A little bit of an insurance policy, thank you. A doctor cannot show you any scientific proof why you're not supposed to do a health program while they're giving you this. I'm not going to talk bad about anything. Everybody makes their own decisions. Any questions? Okay, let's go through this. So the reality is, as soon as I think about food, my mouth starts to water, right? That's preparing my mouth to get the saliva in there so I have those digestive juices to actually chew the food. And understand, when you take food into your mouth, the more you chew it, the smaller the particle, right? You don't have a second set of teeth in your stomach. So when you swallow food like a dog, how many people know that a dog's hydrochloric acid and stomach juices are 40 times stronger than a human? Don't eat like a dog, because guess what? If ever you feel bloated, you feel tired, you feel sluggish, you're gassy, one end or the other, you don't feel rejuvenated, you ate wrong. So it could have been you ate too fast, you didn't food combine properly. Most people will mix proteins and starches together. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to do proteins with steamed vegetable salad if you want, starches with steamed vegetable salad, but not the two together. The starch and the protein will actually neutralize each other, and then you blow up. All you had to do was chew your food to the point that you're drinking your solids. In your mouth, it's liquid, and you'll not have that problem. Even if you go out and you don't eat correctly, okay?
Hello?
I am doing a live right now, so if you want to come on, and as soon as you see that I'm off, call me.
Oh, Dad, I'm at church just for an hour. Can I call you back? Like, can you make
Honey,
me an hour?
honey, the way you've been behaving, you need to stay at church for at least 3 hours.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I love you. I'll talk to you in a while.
I haven't. I'll call you after.
Okay, bye, sweetie.
See you.
Okay. Where was I? Yeah. So anyways, we want to food combine properly. So it's really easy. You know, a lot of people will make fruit salad and they'll throw in subacid, acid, okay? Fruits together, big problem. Big problem. You know, melons should be eaten alone, okay? All right? That's one thing. You should always eat melons alone, and don't even mix your melons. People don't know that. And you'll go, well, you know, I didn't feel too bad, but I did feel gassy, okay? So melons want to be eaten alone. Your subacids can be eaten together, and your acidic fruits, they should be eaten singly. You don't mix them. Okay, you don't mix them. All right, and then you don't mix a fruit. You could get away with mixing a fruit with a vegetable. I don't know why you would do that. You know, sometimes we'll make vegetable juice, right? You can make vegetable juice like carrot juice, and then put a little bit of orange juice in it if you want it. But carrot juice is already sweet, right? So you don't really want to do that. I'm just saying, all right?
I do strawberry spinach. Is that
Strawberry and spinach is fine. There's nothing wrong with that because that's digestible, isn't it? You know, the reality is this. The main problem here is people are told to eat animal protein. And I'm not trying to down it on anybody, but just know this, okay? Whenever you eat, how many dead animals does it take for you to get healthy? And then we're told that we need the protein. Well, you don't actually need protein, you need amino acids. You'll see it's very rare that I will have a piece of fish or I would have like an organic piece of red meat. I'm not high on the chicken, okay? I really am not. I don't do a lot of chicken. I would rather do red meat than chicken. Everybody's been just programmed to eat chicken. And chicken is the most poisonous food you can eat right now. And it's a lot more fattier than red meat. I would always go to red meat before I would do chicken. Everybody's chicken crazy, all right? And as far as fish goes, well, the actual ocean has become kind of a toilet, okay? So I might do like a fresh piece of red snapper, but that's rare, okay? I am not gonna eat fish a lot. Fish is gonna backfire on you so bad. And then if it's farmed fish, then just know every piece of farmed fish has worms. Every piece of farmed fish is pussy, okay? And if you take a look at like wild salmon, it's pink to red. It's a darker pink to red. If you look at the farmed, it's light pink to white, okay? And that's the circulation is so bad and it's so full of hormones and antibiotics. No one should ever do it. And if you go to a restaurant and you don't see where it says wild caught salmon, hey, there's no sense in even asking them because anybody that had wild caught salmon is going to advertise it because they're proud of it. If it doesn't say it, it's farmed. And if it's farmed, it's poisonous, okay? And then talking about that too, you never want to eat shellfish, lobster, clams, mussels, shrimp. These are all bottom feeders. Didn't you ever notice when you cook them at home, it smells like somebody pooped in the pot? Well, that's because they eat things that are rotten, okay? They're scavengers, right? How many here would this Thanksgiving are going to have vulture? Well, that's what you're doing. You are eating the vultures of the ocean. And that's why they smell. I wouldn't say that human beings are really on top of it here, you know? They're not. Okay? Just know this. The less man touches it, and the younger it is, the better you are. Right? You want everything vibrant, right? Okay. So when we think about food, our mouth waters. Saliva starts to increase in there. So we already talked about it. I've mentioned it a few times. Okay? You want to drink your solids and chew your liquids. So that means that even liquids, even water, people guzzle it. Do you know what would happen if they actually took the water and switched it around in their mouth? They'll structure it more and put enzymes in it. You know, people don't know this, but water is a what? Food. Water's a food. And if you don't believe me, there's many different types of food waters. Like this. Reverse osmosis, distilled water cannot be digested. That's why when you drink distilled water, reverse osmosis, it sits heavy. That's why when you actually drink from using our structure units, guess what? You can drink 1 glass of distilled water, structured water, or carbon filtered water, and then you can drink 1 quart of structured water. Did you get that? Because with structured water, there's no surface tension. If you don't believe me, go drink from a spring waterfalls coming down a mountain that's pristine. When you drink it, it's so light, you don't even know it's going into you because it hydrates right into the cells. Drink fast-moving river or a brook that's moving fast going over rocks because the water's twirling and that structures it. What else? Well, we know that rainwater, even though little Billy's chemtrailing all the time, not here in Mexico, there's no chemtrails allowed, but where there's chemtrails and heavy metals, guess what? You can still drink the rainwater because it's structured, because the invisible supersedes the physical, and it's all about frequency. And that's why they said, come on, does nobody ask questions? There are a few states in the United States, if you get caught collecting rainwater and drinking it, you will get fined. Now, why would they care? They don't care if you poison yourself. My God, they're the ones that put all the corner stores, the liquor stores, the vaping stores. Come on. They're the ones that allow the poisons in the stores. But guess what? If you collect rainwater in this state, you can go to jail. Because guess what? Even though it's rainwater, even though it's got toxins, it's been structured by the ozone layer. And even if there's heavy metals, even if there's bacteria in it, you don't get poisoned. I don't care if you believe me. I put my structure unit under any tap I go around the world. I don't buy bottled water. I don't buy bottled water. Seriously, bottled water is poisonous. Most bottled waters have anywhere up to 120 chemicals in it. And you're also putting it in a plastic bottle. The plastic's made out of petroleum. You can program a person to do anything, drink anything, eat anything, yes or no? Why don't you just go to the mall? Nobody's eating any real food. And look at people, they're blowing up. You go to any place in the city, and guess what? You will find the minimum 86% of the population anywhere you go is now overweight and even obese. 86. That means they're all pre-diabetic. That means they all have heart problems already. That means they all have breathing problems already. And it also means that never go into the bathroom after them because they're rotting. But even skinny people, people that are underweight and can't gain weight, that's a parasite problem. And it's also a thyroid problem because they're terrorizing themselves, telling the same horrific story. People that eat all the time, okay, they're just anxiety people. You know the snackers, the nibblers? Everybody's got them in their home. Those people they're just terrorizing themselves. And remember something, okay? I already told you that 99% of the population has worms. And then the population does worm cleanses, whether it's ivermectin or whether it's a herbal cleanse. We're always trying to cleanse the critters out. The critters will not live in a body where you have tissue integrity, and the only way you're going to get that is if you create a perfect day, right? High vibrational on an emotional and physical level. That's it. That's it. So everything that you take a look that you're going to eat, you ask yourself, how much light is in here? The light will be determined by how many humans are processing it and touching it. The light will be determined when was it picked. Do you get this? That is the light. We are light energy, electrical, magnetic beings, and we need light and we need high frequency. Almost nothing, I'm telling you right now, 3 to 5% of the things I bring into my body at weight volume probably are low vibrational. I'm going to tell you I'm perfect. A bad week is 10%. And it's not a bad week. All you got to do, you're allowed to do the 80-20. In weight volume, 80% of your food, your drink has to be high vibrational. 20% can be low vibrational, and you got this. But it's the other way around. We're 80-20. And understand something. You can have 85% good bacteria and 15% bad because guess what? A little bit of stress keeps you going. Tell me that I don't have stress in my life. I just had to change my whole, if I wanted to do this world tour and keep teaching the Whole Life Coach, the Wolf Non-Surgical, and have the girls come and do the pelvic course, I know I had to bring my prices down because everything's being inflated. So we needed to cut our profits out. I want to finish this tour. It was a choice. It's more expensive to travel, more expensive to eat, so everybody's putting their expenses up, and all of us are choking each other financially. So they said it's time to have an inflation, and then guess what? Everybody's putting their prices up. Almost everybody I get products from has put their prices up. Everybody I do everything has put their prices up. I'm refusing. And if I have to put my prices up and start gouging people, then I will not do this. I will teach online. So I will finish this because we've promised to people that we're going to do this world tour. So unless there's a war in that country, or they do some really crazy things, right, where I have to do crazy things to get on the plane, I'm going to follow through. I'm not going to let these psychos tell me what to do. And you can ask Lorraine. We had a meeting, didn't we? We have to cut back on our finances other places because we need to pull this off. And it's called being a braveheart. It's following through. They want everybody to crumble. They want everybody to shut down. Anyways, just remember something. When you go to the table, you never discuss with your kids about cleaning their room, their homework, or what they've done wrong. That never comes to the table. And you want to make sure that it's at least 45 minutes that you have a conversation with them coming from unconditional love before the meal. You want to make sure that it's at least 45 minutes to an hour after a meal before you have a conversation of wanting them to bring their vibration up and that you love them and you want them to have a better life and you want to approach it that way. You do not discuss anything at the table except what was your high moment, what was your low moment. And is everybody really chewing their food? Let's see if we can chew our food till it's like water inside our mouth and swallow it. And guess what? We all won't be farting and burping later and feeling uncomfortable. And then how many mothers actually go in and check their child's bowel movements and go, see, honey, look it, you're sunk to the bottom. And that's because it sat in you for so long that a poop that would have been this long is now compacted down to here because you sucked all the water out and now it's as hard as a rock. And if I were to pick that up and hit you with it, I'd knock you on the floor. So the reality is it's sunk to the bottom because there's no oxygen and it's compacted. You see, honey, look at the cracks in your poop. When things get dehydrated, like people get cracks in their face called wrinkles when they don't drink enough or eat a high vibrational diet. It's called old aging. And so your poop is old age. It's got wrinkles in it and cracks because you absorbed all the water into your body because you didn't drink enough water that day. And would you like to have water coming in this way? Or would you like to suck the water out of your poop that's toxic back into your bloodstream? Why don't we talk to our kids like that? And guess what? I eat one meal a day, and that's a fact. Everybody knows it. No lie. Is that a lie? How many meals do you see me eat? Yesterday I did have lunch, didn't I? That's the first time I did. And that's only because I only had one salad and one black bean soup in 3 days. The rest was just juices and water. Because I decided, that's all that's left. I got a teeny bit right there, maybe a teeny right here, okay? You should not be able to pinch an inch. Anything more than an inch, you should not be able to pinch, right? I'm taking my life serious, all right? So anyways, we do not terrorize our children at the table. We don't terrorize our husband. We don't terrorize our wife. As soon as you, and we're all going to go sit down and eat. Did you hear? Did you hear there's another war? Really? Okay, right away, you just took 70% of the energy for their digestion of their food and put it into their legs and arms, and nobody's getting away from the table, so now all the energy's here, and now everybody's going to have indigestion, and the food's going to rot. So now that you just wasted all that money, every time that you eat and you bloat, every time you eat, you have gas, every time that you eat and you have indigestion or you feel like you're going to fall asleep after the meal, you just wasted the money. So you only have two things that are going to happen. What are they? You're either going to feel energized and light and solid, or you're going to feel bloated and sluggish, and that's it. So you're either going to digest your food and assimilate the nutrients, or you're going to rot out. Now, if I told you this, you won't believe me. The majority of the population, 2 out of 3 meals, is rotting out. Well, if you weren't, why do we have the ovarian cysts? Why do we have the infertility? Why do we have the cystitis, bladder infections? Why has prostate cancer gone up 400%? Okay? Why do we have endometriosis, which is just spiderweb scar tissue all throughout the pelvis because of infection creating inflammation, scar tissue formation? Why do we have endometriosis? Why do we have the fibroids? Why do we have the tumors? Why do we have the hip surgeries? We have the hip surgeries because you filled up your pelvis full of poo particles, because you've got leaky gut because of the antibiotics in the animal products, and also the antibiotics you took even 10 years ago that actually blew up your good bacteria and made the yeast turn into fungus, and the fungus drilled holes through your large intestine. How are we doing? So you make the, I will not eat. I will not eat, only drink if I'm exhausted. I will not eat if I've had a stressful day and I'm not in harmony or balance. I will go, I don't care if I feel hungry, I will go and swim. I will go and do my pelvic squats. I will do my crab stretch. I will breathe. I will align myself with my source, my creator, before I open my mouth and put anything in it. You align first, or you'll blow up. Remember something, you cannot eat when you're tired. You cannot eat when you're stressed. And we do that. They want to stress us out, make sure we eat, we don't digest, and then we blow up. You know, people say to me, well, you should have something to eat. Well, you know, you're working really hard here. No. If I were to go at lunch and I have a heavy meal at lunch, that means that all my blood and all my energy is going to be in trying to digest that while we come back here. I want to be on my game. And whether you guys want to believe this or not, eating is a very low form of trying to get energy. How do you get energy the fastest? Unconditional love, a smile, hugging your friends, hugging yourself, telling people how beautiful they are. That's the greatest energy in the world. We are electrical, magnetic, energetic spirits. And guess what? When I'm talking to you and making love to you, okay, all right, with my vibration, all right, guess what? I am not taking anything away from you. I am taking the invisible and nourishing the physical, and that's it. People go, how do you do this? How do you put out so much energy? Do I put out a lot of energy, Lorraine? Yeah, everybody else is ready to go home, and then I've got another show to do. And then I go home and I'm writing 2 chapters right now that I'm going to be putting in the Perfect Day Guide in the next edition right now. Find a way to love your life. Find a way to love your wife. Find a way to let everybody off the hook. If you want more energy, then you can't hate anything. Doesn't mean you love everything. It means you focus on the things you love. Gee, Daryl, come on. You need to love Bill Gates. No, I'm going to focus on the things I love. I'm not going to try to focus. I don't hate Bill Gates. I'm not going to be focused on trying to forgive him because I never judged him. Do you understand? Now, what's this got to do with digestion? Everything. You're either trying to digest an emotional problem, and then you won't digest your food. Okay, so anyways, we're going to put the food in. We talked about food combining. We talked about trying to find peace and calm. Then what we're going to do is we're going to chew the food. And guess what? Most of you, You're gulpers. Yes or no? Don't lie. You're gulpers. Right? Got to get the liquid out. Got to wash it down. Well, guess what? Want to know a little secret? Okay. Concentration camps. In the concentration camps, they got to eat rats. They all got the same amount of rat or whatever they got, right? And the reality is they might get a little piece of rat. Guess what most people did? You can't be a dog because you don't have 40%. They're 40 times stronger with their hydrochloric acid. That's why they digest it still. What people would do, what would they do? They put it in there, they would chew it, and they put their head forward because they don't want to take it down. You got to keep it up in here. Get the saliva going, soften it up, then chew it up. And they would chew it until there was nothing to swallow. They would actually absorb the particles from that big chunk. So that might be what? A half an hour to 40 minutes, maybe an hour, just to totally dissolve that in the mouth. That's why they survived. That's why they thrived. Listen, I hope you know, everybody at the table here, groceries have gone up 30%, and it's going to go up higher. So don't be wasting the food. Well, you just did. You just stressed them out. So guess what? If you want to, guess what you could do, guys? You could actually decrease the price of your food by 70%. How many people know that? How many people know that you could decrease it by 70%? Because everybody is eating, okay, 70% more than they need. You could decrease your food down to 30% of its weight volume of what you're eating. The steak, the chicken, okay, the salad. If you keep it in your mouth and you break it down to there, look at that. Okay, wow. Where do you shop? Well, I shop where it's 70% cheaper because I need some intelligence in my mouth, right? So now I'm going to chew my food, and that's how you're going to save a ton of money. You're going to save a ton of money. That's the truth. And we're going to start nourishing our family, not trying to fill them. Right? Right? Okay, kids, come on. Time for nourishment. Get them thinking different. Okay. When you started coming in here and I said Great Awakening, and then you would say Great Awakening, that sounded weird to you, didn't it? How's it sound today? Now, you didn't want to go to Great Awakening. You wanted to stay at Good Morning because they want you to mourn all day long. Every word has a vibration. So, good morning. I hope you all have a really good morning. Everything, we've been set up for everything. No, I've got a Great Awakening. It's happening all the time. If I say Great Awakening to you, that brings me more back into my present moment. I'm just selfish, that's all. I'm going to speak the way I need to speak to get what I need to get. And guess what? If you do that, it might actually even upset people. Great Awakening. What a bunch of bullshit. Great Awakening. Who does he think he is? Don't expect to fit in. Okay, don't expect to fit in if you're not okay with being done in. Did you get that? Say it out loud because it's true. Don't expect to fit in if you don't want to get done in. Now, does that sound logical? That's right. So, if you actually want to be, okay, happy and free, okay, you're going to have to be part of the minority. You can't do anything like the majority anymore. God, 80% of the population has had one or more of these things. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Okay, So now we're going to chew our food. We're going to make it into a liquid. We're going to swallow it. It's going to come down to the stomach. These are called rugae. Believe it or not, your stomach's almost like a washing machine, okay? And what it's doing is it wants to mix the pepsin and the hydrochloric acid, okay, with your foods to digest it. How many people know that your stomach is the guard dog for your body? How many people know that if you're upset when you eat and there are any bad bacteria or there is mold or there is parasite or parasitical eggs and you're upset, then you don't dump your hydrochloric acid and your pepsin properly, it will not neutralize these microbes and they'll end up into your small intestine. Did you get that? I hope you got it. So when you're upset, you are only dumping 20% of your digestive juices. So does that mean you'll probably only digest what? 20% of the food. So now you're going to have putrefaction, again, bloating and exhaustion. So we got to make sure, because we don't have a second set of teeth here. So we want to make sure when this comes down here, we've made the job easy. Okay? All right? So how many people know that a gastric ulcer is caused because of bad bacteria? How many people know that the main reason we have that is because we swallow stuff emotionally we can't digest, and the next thing is we're stressed out all the time, so we're not dumping the digestive juices in there we should, so food actually rots in there, and wherever there's rotten food, there's bad bacteria, and bad bacteria create gastric ulcers. Are you with me? Okay. From the stomach, it goes into the small intestine. Your small intestine is actually how long? 22 feet for an adult. So in your small intestine, you've got what are called these villi. They're hairs, and you've got them all throughout. And the more alcohol, the more sugar, the more flour products, the more chemicals that you take, you actually break those hairs off. So as you age, the more you lose those hairs, they're never replaced. You have way more than you need, so understand. But the reality is they keep breaking off, and then you start getting into problems. And remember something, whether we're talking about a problem in the throat or the mouth, all the way down to the other end, it's infection, inflammation first. Got it? Infection, inflammation. Doesn't matter, same problem, it's just different places. And it's always got to do with infection, inflammation, scar tissue formation, calcification, ulceration, because you're going to eat a hole through that with the inflammation. And when you have inflammation, you are decreasing the immunity integrity of that tissue. As that comes down, guess what? Then you move in the fungus, the parasite, the worms, the bad bacteria come wherever there's rotting tissue, and they feed off of that. But they also will steal your nutrition as well. Okay? So understand, the negative worms, the negative bugs that you don't like are only because you're negative. And they come in to clean up the rotting tissue. Did you get it? Stinking thinking, rotten to the core. So you got to change your thinking. So now, small intestine, 22 feet. It's pretty well all liquid here. We're assimilating a lot of nutrients in here. Okay, there's Crohn's disease in here. We'll be going through that when we do the chart tomorrow. This is the one we go through tomorrow. Okay, so in here, okay, all right, everything, ileitis, Crohn's disease, and then when you're talking in the large intestine, colitis, and you'll have a lot more problems in the large intestine than any other organ. And the large intestine is responsible, okay, the Royal Society of Medicine is the British Medical Association. They did the biggest study with the large intestine that anybody's ever done. They said a minimum of 85% of all diseases, all pain and suffering, comes from your large intestine. Why hasn't your doctor told you that? Even your doctor doesn't know that. Even the nutritionists don't even know that. I mean, gosh, take a look at most natural health practitioners. They try to give you a parasite cleanse, and when they should be giving you a perfect day. If you brought your vibration up on a nutritional, physical, emotional level, you would never have any bad parasites. And remember, we've got lots of parasites. There's a little parasite walking across right here on my eyelid, back and forth. That's all it does. And it grabs the skin that falls from up here and feeds on it. He's my friend. You've got lots of worms, you've got lots of different bacteria, but as far as viruses go, they're not alive. So you don't but we have a lot of different viruses. We get new viruses because we get new GMOs and we get new chemicals, because that's what viruses are. Viruses are where you've poisoned yourself with heavy metals and chemical poisoning. That's it. So the body, you can't see your bacteria and your fungus and your worms, even if they're bad ones, they won't eat that stuff. They won't eat heavy metals or GMOs or glyphosate or all these chemicals that you take in. So the bugs that you don't like are more intelligent than you, because they know that if they eat that stuff, they'll die. Did you get that? They can eat the other matter, but they won't touch heavy metals. They won't touch chemical poisoning. Do you understand? Okay, so that's why you've got to have the flu. Did you get this? The flu is actually where you got to drip. You got to have a fever to boil your blood. You got to drip from your nose, your ears, your vagina, your rectum, diarrhea, vomiting, to get out these heavy metals and these chemical poisonings. And the body makes approximately 300 different soap solvents to actually go in and break down these heavy metals and chemicals in your body, and then to get them out of you. Are you with me? Because there's not a virus that can jump 1 inch, less 6 feet. But don't worry, we're going to get right back into that, okay? It's coming again. We just have to wait, because everybody has exhausted themselves and poisoned themselves with all these celebrations, and now we're going to have a lot of snot balls around, and of course the world's dying again, okay? All right, just know this, people are not sick. When a person is sick, they're actually healing. Because if you didn't get rid of all of these poisons, you would die. Do you understand? So it's got to come out one hole or another. Whether you're going to sweat it out, or it's going to come out your eyeballs, your nose, your mouth, your ears, or some other hole. All right. So then the small intestine, okay, it does most of the absorption, like I say, of the nutrients. By the time it gets to the cecum here, okay, the liquid becomes more solidified. Okay? All right? What do you think? Are we hungry after all that great talk? Because now we're going to break for lunch. Okay? And what we're going to do is we'll pick our conversation up and we'll talk about the most important organ of the human body. The brain says, I'm in charge. Okay? The liver says that it's in charge. The pancreas, the stomach, the gallbladder, the small intestine, they all say they're in charge, and then the bowel says, well, guess what? I guess I'll just shut up then. This is what's in charge. If this shuts down, we become toxic from the bottom up and from the inside out. The large intestine is the holy grail. Doesn't matter what condition you have, what symptom you have, I will prove to you that if we go in and start rehabilitating the large intestine, purging the liver, and guess what? You cannot detoxify the liver with anything that I ever found except with an Ultimate Coffee Enema. You can take all the herbs you want. It might help a little bit, but it won't do what the Ultimate Coffee Enema will do. So what we're going to be doing when we come back from lunch today is Lorraine's going to go through vaginal infusion. We're going to go through therapeutic vomiting. We're going to go through the Ultimate Coffee Enema, okay? And what did I miss?
Dry brushing.
Oh, well, we'll go through the dry brushing and the salt glows, okay? All right? Thanks for joining us, everyone. Don't forget, okay? All right? You don't have a second set of teeth down there. All right? Have a beautiful day.